What's up, guys? M. Jones back in someone else's house tonight. We are at the house of Stags.
My house.
We just saw the movie Kick-Ass 2.
Mm-hmm.
We loved it, right?
I liked it.
Liked it? Well, we're going to talk about if we loved it or not. But first of all, the movie was about 2 hours long. We thought it was going to be a little bit more violent, a little more crazy as the first movie was. I think we both liked it, but I think we thought it was just a little less violent, a little more storyline, right?
Mm-hmm.
A little more storyline.
Yeah, I didn't notice that much shock value that there was from the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't anything that was like, oh my god, that did really happen, but like, yeah, that wasn't really much of that in there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the first movie was so good. You know, I just remember thinking, holy shit, this is a superhero movie? Like, this stuff's actually happening? There's a lot of blood and a lot of, like, blood and guts. And the second movie, it had that. It did. It did for sure have, like, the blood and the guts, but not as much. But we both agreed as we were calling home, like, the storyline, there was more of it, though. There was more to it than the first movie. So that was okay. I like that a little bit better than the first movie. But the first movie had some of the best action and violence.
I really loved the first one.
Yeah, for blood in the action, or what?
Mm-hmm. Just the whole thing, I've never seen anything like it before.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially for a superhero movie.
Yeah, no, I really agree. And I like I said, the storyline was really good in the second movie. If you like a storyline and don't care so much for the action, you'll like this movie way more than the first one. But I gotta say, Aaron Johnson and Chloe Grace Moretz, who was Kick-Ass and Hit Girl respectfully, they were really good together again. And now they're a little older, so there's just a little bit more maturity between both of them. You can really see how they have more chemistry on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, Chloe Grace is not so young anymore. She's now 16, technically, filming probably 15 years old in that movie. She just seemed a lot more of a woman.
Yeah,
or a young woman, rather than just a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
So the movie, to me, this time around, was a little bit more believable that she was kicking all these guys' asses, because 3 years ago, she was like 12. It's like, come on. It's like she's a prepubescent teen. Like, it's just like, there's no way you're beating up like 6'5", jacked, yoked up dudes. It's like, come on.
Speaking of yoked up, Aaron Johnson got
Kick-Ass.
Huge for this role.
He's all ripped up in the movie. Yeah, he obviously he has the time and the money to do it. He's a rich actor, but he definitely got yoked up for the movie. But yeah, I actually thought this time that Christopher Mintz-Plasse, who's McLovin in Superbad, I actually thought he was cool in this movie.
He was cool in this. His look is all different.
His looks different.
His costume, but like he's got facial hair in this one now.
He's no longer Red Mist. He's now
the mother effer.
Mother effer. He and we won't tell you why that's his name. And it's actually kind of interesting how he gets the name. If you see the movie, you'll kind of realize why he's that name, which I thought was really kind of clever. And I actually wasn't annoyed with him. I didn't like him in Role Models. In Superbad, he was kind of annoying. He's just always like really annoying. Yeah. And if that's his stick, then that's fine. But I really thought that he was actually pretty cool in this movie. I actually liked him in this movie. Mm-hmm. Right.
The thing about him is that like I like him as an actor. He's really believable. Like in Superbad, he's so believable because I've seen kids like that in high school. But I don't like making fun of people. But his lisp gets to me, doesn't it? Kick-Ass.
Hey, good morning. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, well,
all right, dude.
I don't think everything ends with a TH, but but he was actually really cool in this movie. I liked him a lot. The opening scene with him and his mom is awesome. Like, it's really funny. It is funny. It's messed up, but it's funny. You got to see it. Don't want to ruin that. And the next guy we want to talk about would be Jim Carrey's role. He played Colonel Stars and Stripes. He was a former mob guy who actually used to run numbers for Christine Miko's dad, who was killed in the first movie by Kick-Ass. So there's a connection there. And we're not ruining anything about that. That's not important. But that's just information, trivia information. But he was really, I thought, cool in the movie. Mm-hmm. He was very, like, American, patriotic, really... Yeah. He was like a born-again Christian in the movie. Like, he hated swearing. And I loved how anytime someone would swear, he'd be like, language. It was so, yeah, we say that all the time. I say it to everybody. But I really liked that. I really thought he was good. What do you think?
It was just cool to see him on the screen again. Because I can't remember the last time I saw a Jim Carrey movie in the theaters. Even though he's not the main character in this. But it was just really cool to see him back in a movie theater.
Yeah. And I guess now he kind of really hates the fact he did that part of Colonel Stars and Stripes. Being that they were filming a lot of the parts whenever that massacre occurred in Connecticut. Yeah. It was like December 14th, I think, that was the date. And so he was really just upset that he did that and just very like, oh, I wish I never did this movie. And I heard that he actually had more scenes, but they cut some of it out because they were so pissed that he was trying to defame the name of Kick-Ass 2. So I would like to. I'm sure if there's like if we get the unrated Blu-ray, there's probably going to be a lot of deleted scenes of Colonel Stars and Stripes. So I'm actually more inclined to buy the Blu-ray just because of that. Because Jim Carrey is a scene stealer. He's a scene stealer. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. He kills it every time.
Yep.
Kills it every time. I really kind of liked a lot of the like Donald Faison was in the movie from Scrubs, and he played Dr. Gravity or something like that, or Mr. Gravity. You know, there was a lot of extra superheroes that kind of got inspired because of Kick-Ass. And there was a lot of, like, unknown actors. And I think this is one of those movies that has a huge casting and will allow for the unknown actors to kind of play a role, you know, pun intended, to be in a movie to try to make it bigger and try to get more acting parts, just because this movie is highly acclaimed and people wanted to see it.
That's exactly what happened with Hit Girl.
Exactly happened with Hit Girl, yeah. And the girl that I was really interested in the most, her name was actually Night Bitch.
Yeah, I think it was.
She goes out at night and is a bitch. That's how she got the name Night Bitch. And she's just kind of like a vigilante, and she's trying to seek revenge for her sister that was killed. And, you know, Kick-Ass actually has a little bit of a romantic link with her. And she was really good, and her real name is Lindy Booth, I think.
Yeah, Lindy Booth.
Some kind of crazy name. She's sort of redheadish, you know, amber hair, and she very pretty. And she's actually was in like she was in Wrong Turn, and she was in what's the one we just looked at? What's that called?
Cry Wolf.
Cry Wolf, and they're two, in my opinion, awful movies. But this movie is going to help her career because she was good. You know, you saw a soft side of her, you saw a sexy side of her, you saw a devious side of her. I think she's going to get a little bit more in the roles in Hollywood because I thought she was really good. I thought she was good.
Another thing is that even though, you know, I said I'm excited for Jim Carrey, that I saw him come back on the screen, like this makes me more excited for Dumb and Dumber 2.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Like, I am such a fan of the first one. It's in my top 10 movies. And I just can't wait to see what he's going to bring back.
Well, the reason I'm excited for Dumb and Dumber 2 is because Jim Carrey said he would only sign on if the script was worth something. And I feel like he would know. So, like, I'm really excited about that. But anyway, back to the movie. Really, like, the plot of the movie was to kind of get, you know, Kick-Ass wanted to get Hit Girl back in the game because, you know, Hit Girl, if you remember from the first movie, spoiler alert, her dad, Big Daddy, dies, who was played by Nicolas Cage, and she was being protected by his best friend, Morris Chestnut. And he is like a cop also, and he like watches and takes after her, and he's constantly telling her and reminding her and threatening her not to go as Hit Girl. But, you know, I'm sorry, but like you got to be yourself, and she is more of a superhero than any of them, especially Kick-Ass. So the whole movie really centered around that. The movie centered around Kick-Ass and his father, I thought was really good, and how, you know, Christopher Mintz-Plaze's character, Chris D'Amico, how he wants to seek revenge on Kick-Ass. And the movie was really good like that. It had a good story. Like, it was actually, they set the tone, we were both like, okay, this is going to be cool to see how this works out. So I definitely think we liked that. I definitely did like that. I think we are lacking some violence, though. I mean, not to sound like sadistic or anything, but like it was just I was expecting a lot more violence because the first movie was so accepted.
Yeah,
you know, it wasn't like banned. The movie wasn't NC-17 because of the violence. So I thought, you know, the directors and the producers would try to play their cards even more in risk and to try to put more violence, but it wasn't like that. I was really surprised by that.
It was a good movie, but I don't think it's as good as the first one.
Yeah. I would probably agree, but I did like the storyline better in the second one.
I would disagree.
Really?
I do like I like their origin stories.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's fine. I just liked more of the story, though. I like more of the story. I'd like more of the story. Well, if you would rate this movie 1 out of 5, 5 being perfect, 1 being awful, what would you put it at? And explain why.
Well, like I said, I was beat from work today.
Wow.
And I fell asleep a couple times for maybe about 5 minutes at a time.
I guess you're the only one that works.
Hey, why wouldn't I be? But the first viewing of this,
I would... be a gangster.
Language.
Sorry.
It's fine. I would give it a 3 for right now.
Wow.
And the reason I would give it a 3 is because, 1, it was toned down with the violence. 2, it was toned down with the shock value. And D, it wasn't... it just wasn't as funny as the first one.
Wow. Wasn't as funny?
I didn't think it was as funny as the first one.
You're crazy.
But I will watch it again within the coming weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Not as tired as I was tonight.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and give the movie a 4 out of 5.
Wow.
I thought it was much better than what Stegs thinks. I don't know. I thought it was better. I liked the storyline. I've said repeatedly now. I thought there was a lot of humor in the second one. A lot of subtle humor. I thought it was very good writing for the actors. I feel like the actors kind of conveyed what their script was telling them to say in a really good way, in a really good manner. So I thought the humor was actually better, to be honest with you. I just liked it. I laughed more. Just the subtleties. I think if someone say, well, why don't you give it a 5 if you're giving all these compliments, I would probably say it just lacked the violence. And not to say that like Stegs and I are crazy sadistic and we're crave violence, but we were just so like astonished by the first movie. Mm. So I guess we thought, how can you not turn up a notch a little bit?
Right.
So
another thing is they had a different director too.
They had a different. Yeah, that's right. But he still did a good job. But his name was Jeff Wadlow.
Right. And Matthew Vaughn was directing.
I wish Matthew Vaughn would have directed. I wish he would have
directed. He did have part in this.
I wish he would have directed the second one. But I don't give it a 5 because the violence it wasn't enough. But I will say this. Probably my favorite scene of the movie dealt with one of Christy Amico, Christopher Mintz-Plaze's posse. Her name was Mother Russia. This big, jacked, crazy 6'2" woman who was just beating the shit out of cops left and right.
Female Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, exactly. And what she does with a lawnmower to 2 cops. Incredible! It's like holy shit.
You'll never see that in another movie.
No. So it was pretty crazy. It was definitely novel. But anyway, I give it a 4 out of 5, and you give it a what again?
I give it a 3 out of 5. But I will see it again and maybe re-rate it in the coming days.
Wow. Well,
I need to be more awake and more alert.
I would definitely buy the Blu-ray. I'll definitely buy the Blu-ray.
I'll definitely get it too.
And just like just like most movies, people leave right when the credits start, and they don't ever say, let's just stick around for the credits. Well, I was tipped off that if you stick around for the credits at the end, there might be another scene. There was. We're not going to tell you. You got to go see the movie. But it was kind of interesting. Like, could there be a third movie? Maybe, maybe not. But you got to check out the movie. But until then, you take it easy and
see you later.
Okay, bye.